Mr. Chairman, I try to be open-minded and broad-minded about nominations. I'm even willing to consider two people from the Navy, which is a stretch for me. But anyway, I can see why you have support of your senators. You seem to be incredibly bothly talented and dedicated to the law and to the country, so congratulations to you and your family. My view of this process is to try to find out if you're qualified and not to replace my judgment for yours on political issues, and just to make sure that, you know, you're well-rounded in the law, and I think you both are. And I was a military defense attorney. I didn't get to pick my clients. They came over to the office, and once they were there, I did my best. Mr. Federico, I think you represented some 9/11 defendants, is that right?
Yes, Senator, one 9/11 defendant.
Tell me about that.
Senator, I reported the Office of Military Commissions Defense in 2008 in the spring. As you may recall, and I know you worked hard on those policy issues, that was after the passage of the Military Commissions Act of 2006. That was when the 9/11 case was first charged. I learned on my first day in the office from my military leadership that I would be detailed to that case. I didn't know going in that was one of the cases I would work on. Of course, I then found it to be both...
Was it fair to say you did your best and gave it your all?
Yes, Senator, I did.
Okay. Mr. Culler, your time in the Navy, how's that prepared you for what awaits you, you think?
Senator Graham, it's prepared me in a number of ways. First, the ongoing service of the people that I've had the honor of serving with really does inspire me, even as I do my civilian job. Second, when I'm in uniform, I have a chain of command, and it's important that I follow that chain of command. And I feel the same way when I'm in chambers. My job is to follow the chain of command, follow binding precedent, both as a naval intelligence officer and as a judge. I try to make sure that I'm rigorously analyzing anything that comes before me and taking into account all relevant facts. And in the end, I do my job within that chain of command, and I'm inspired to do so by those with whom I'm served.
So let me ask you about problems our nation faces. Do you believe that ISIS and other radical Islamic groups represent a threat to the United States?
Senator, I've prosecuted cases involving ISIS and other terrorist organizations where people were inspired by rhetoric that certainly can cause a danger to the United States and violates multiple federal laws that this body has passed.
Do you agree to that, Mr. Federico?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, so even though we're in an undeclared war, the enemy is out there. Are you familiar with the term enemy combatant, both of you?
Yes, Senator, I am.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you very briefly explain what an enemy combatant is?
Senator, under the Geneva Conventions in particular, you designate persons as combatants and non-combatants. An enemy combatant is a person who has the status as a combatant, but of course is an opposing force.
We have people held at Guantanamo Bay now under the designation as enemy combatants. Are you both familiar with that?
Yes, Senator.
Yes, Senator.
Okay. Our Supreme Court has reviewed those cases.
Yes, Senator.
You agree? Okay. Under the law of war, can an enemy combatant be held off the battlefield as long as they're a threat to our nation?
Senator, I'll say under the law of armed conflict, it has always been that you can detain enemy combatants through the duration of hostilities.
Mr. Culler?
It's accurate, Senator.
Okay. Do you know when this war is going to be over?
I hope as soon as possible, Senator.
But do you agree with me it's ongoing?
Senator, we've had declared certain wars in certain theaters are over. I agree with you, however, that there are still enemies out there and that there is still active armed conflict in certain areas.
You agree with that, Mr. Culler?
I agree with that, Senator. The duration of the hostilities is determined by the President and in certain instances this body as well.
Thank you very much.
Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to ask you each two sets of questions because I know my colleagues have questions to ask. Mr.